Hello. Welcome to Survival Fountain of Youth. This is a game where you play the part of a crew member of a Spanish expedition to explore the Caribbean. Your group was specifically looking for the Fountain of Youth, as the subtitle of the game might kind of hint at. And this is very historical because I believe there was at least one expedition, might have been another Soto, and he was definitely looking for the Fountain of Youth. Although it could be somebody else, but there were definitely quite a lot of Spanish explorers looking for either the cities of gold, the rivers of silver, or the Fountain of Youth. Name whatever mythical treasure you want to come up with. Somebody was looking for it. As well as conquering the natives and enslaving, and all that good old-fashioned fun, quote-unquote, lol. In any case, this is very much historically based, and the game is definitely set in the Caribbean, so as you might expect, that means the climate is basically tropical, as opposed to say a game like The Long Dark, which relies on snowy climates, right? And I think a lot of games tend to base themselves around a similar climate as this one does. Tropical island, or at least semi-deserted island, just you and the native population, which tends to be animals that want to rip and tear your face off. Lol. Should be fun, eh? Should be fun. In any case, I have played a little bit of this. I'm not sure how far I've got. Supposedly this early access version has the first 2 chapters of the story, so I'm not sure how far I've got so far. But I have explored a little bit of the starting island, and I have gone around the coast towards some of the ruins that are on the island. I haven't explored things like the jungle or anything like that, which seems to be quite important. But so far I've been very impressed with the depth of the mechanics that I've seen. The game has quite a lot of crafting recipes, and it takes a little while to get used to the sheer number of them. There's also quite a lot of depth when it comes to skills, and there are perk points as well that you can also pick up. So there are a lot of ways you can upgrade your own character and make yourself better at survival. I've been particularly impressed by some of the sickness and condition mechanics. So things like sunburn, getting poisoned, and how things like being well fed and well rested help you recover from those quickly. So for example, if you starve, then you're more likely to get worse sickness than whatever you've got. So you might start with something like a runny nose, which is not really a problem, but if your immune system is compromised, then it's very likely to get worse, which is very realistic if you think about it. In any case, very impressed so far. I am definitely loving this game. It definitely lives up to what I imagined the game to be. In any case, let us begin a new game. I think you can have 4 save slots, so this is a test save slot that I had. In any case, let me start a new save. So I will go through the tutorial even though I played it before, just because the tutorial covers a lot of the mechanics that I think people who may be interested in the game do want to see. So when we reach the point where I played up to, I will mention it. So anything before that I have played, but anything after that will be basically a blind playthrough. Anyway, let's start a new game. Not sure what this is, and the game is actually quite difficult enough on normal. So let's play with this.
This story is inspired by real events. According to historic records, on March 4th, 1513, 3 ships sailed from Puerto Rico. They were heading to faraway islands and were led by the famous explorer Juan Ponce de Leon. The goal of the expedition was to search for the legendary Fountain of Youth. It all began in Puerto Rico, when Governor Juan Ponce de Leon gave military support to the chief Gaibana in a war against other tribes. The Spanish soldiers quickly ended the war and restored peace. The grateful chief told Ponce de Leon an ancient legend of his people, a legend about Bimini, a hidden island lost in the sea. According to the legend, in the center of Bimini is the Fountain of Youth. Anyone who drinks from it will enjoy long years of health and youth. The chief also gave him an old map, covered with inscriptions in an ancient language. The map showed an uncharted group of islands. The location to search was clear, but the inscriptions were still a mystery to uncover. The captain believed in the legend and began to prepare an expedition. The best scientists and sailors of the New and Old Worlds volunteered to join his adventure. A total of 3 ships sailed off: the Santiago, the Santa Maria, and the San Cristobal. Ponce de Leon was sure that the ancient map would lead them to the fountain and bring them fame, wealth, and eternal youth. The voyage to the islands took an entire month. On the 30th day of the journey, the lookout spotted islands up ahead. They were the islands from the map. The expedition was just one day from its goal.
Okay, and we are a sailor amongst other sailors in the ship. There are a couple of things, right? Sailor's note. In case I die at the hands of savages or from old age or for any other reason before the miraculous fountain of youth is found, I sign over to the Holy Church my property, namely a pair of boots, 2 shirts and a pair of pants. All undergarments. Yikes. Hopefully the undergarments are washed. And the salary owed to me if the expedition is successful. Please consider Captain Ponce de Leon to be the executor of my will. Ah yes, never leave undergarments to anybody else. That is nasty, folks. That is nasty. Doesn't matter how in need they might be. No undergarments. Actually, is there anything here? I don't think so, right? Okay, so that's just it, yeah. Oh, sorry, wrong way. Oops. Ah yes, yes. This reminds me of the start of Morrowind. You were tossing and turning. Awake. What's his name? Saint Ajub? I think that's his name. And the law kind of retrofits him to be the destructor of, what do you call it? There's flying reptiles. I forgot what they were called. Anyway. This is a combat tutorial. There be animals. So right click to parry and left click to block. Now, sorry, to attack. Yeah, so one thing to note is that the parry is actually awfully slow. You gotta be quick. It takes a while to actually block, so. Yeah, and then it goes into that animation. So you gotta do it. You can't. Yeah, it's not a twitch based thing. Yeah, you gotta do it early. Or you can. Stabby stab before they get there with a strong attack. Oh, there you go. See? It takes a bit of time to get used to the parrying. Because it's not instant, right? So if I click now, the arm takes, like, say, about 2 seconds to come up. At least properly come up. And the arm has to be out in order to parry. Right, the map. So overall I think the game is pretty much feature complete as far as I've seen. The graphics seem quite nice. I'm not sure if there's any plans to change them or improve them or anything like that, but the graphics do look quite nice so far, especially once you get to the island. So at the end of the day, don't expect a survival game to have cinematic qualities, visuals. So ancient artifacts. Oh, hello. Numerous traces of the natives' culture. Special practical interests are the strange ornate bottles of unusual liquid. Found 2 absolutely identical bottles on 2 different islands, both were filled with water. Out of curiosity, I drank the water from one of the bottles. It was surprisingly fresh and delicious. What brand were they? And by the way, mineral water apparently has less restrictions on the quality. So it could literally be just something you pump out of the ground and it qualifies as mineral water. So be careful, folks. Unless you live in a really bad location, tap water tends to be actually cleaner. 2 days, all my old scars began to heal, and I started feeling years younger, stronger, and healthier. Cannot stop thinking about this water. Perhaps these bottles are somehow connected to the fountain of youth. Oh, really? All the scars disappearing and getting younger didn't give you a hint? Jesus, this guy. Some people are thick. What if this is the living water that Guaybana told me about? Captain Juan Ponce de Leon. That's right, he's a Ponce bastard. Can I steal anything else? I don't think I've seen that one before. And I don't think there's anything else to be found, right? So let's get on with it. This is basically the end of the tutorial. There's a light. Let there be light, said the guy with the flint and what would it be? Would it be steel and flint? Anyway, let there be light, said the guy with the fire starter. Lol, that's good enough. Anyway, yeah, read the book. May 17, 1513, crew of the Santa Maria is on strike again. Team did not agree with captain's decisions to halve the weekly portion of rum. Head of the expedition, Ponce de Leon, had to cross from our ship to the Santiago to the Santa Maria to calm the crew once again. Okay. Finally reached some island. Scientists have not yet fully deciphered the ancient map, so we do not know which island we are looking for. Therefore, the captain ordered us to land on each island to look for traces of the Fountain of Youth. Today we landed on another island. There was no Fountain of Youth there either, but we found a second unusual flask with ancient symbols on it. The flask was delivered aboard the Santiago. It looks exactly like the one we found a week earlier on another island. Ponce de Leon was very interested in these artifacts. We also picked up some strange little beast. Looks like a squirrel and is very angry. Yes. I think we may have terminated that little squirrel. And it was indeed very angry. That's right, I can attest to its anger. We locked him up in a cage on deck. Yes, so whoever locked him up should be flogged, because that was a poor job. At night, one of the expedition ships, the San Cristobal, was ripped off the anchor and carried away by the current. Apparently the crew underestimated the strength of this new current and did not prepare properly. Anyway, we pray for favorable wind for our comrades so that they can catch up to us as soon as possible. Found another island. It is big enough. Ponce gave it a name, the Island of Hope. I think it's in Spanish that would be La Isla de la Esperanza. LOL. There you go, showing off my cursory Spanish. On cursory examination from the ship, the captain noticed an interesting grotto on the island. He ordered the cartographer to sketch it and study it first when looking around. They decided to schedule the landing for the next morning. So in other words, we are on the evening of June the 2nd, 1513, and tomorrow is the day of the landing. In the meantime, we are ordered to move away from the coast so that the missing San Cristobal could see us in case it catches up with us today. Anyway, so it is June the 2nd, right? 1513. Not sure if the date is ever important, but yeah, there you go. Alright, let's see. Okay, sorry. Gotta put the map down. Here. Of course he gets bonked on the head. I've been noticing a trend in games bonking the character in the head. And of course, remember that lantern? Remember that old lantern that we lit? Yeah, it's all our fault, man. We destroyed the ship, basically. Anyway, grotto location. The key is that you've got a big, probably whale remains, and a big flat stone on top. That is a grotto. Okay, that's it. At the beginning of the mission, you get 2 items from the chest. And generally they're items that you can't make on the island. So typically I went with the leather backpack because of the carrying capacity and navy coat. But this time let me go with the gun. Because I'm fairly sure I can't manufacture a gun. I'm guessing that I can't get hold of a pistol on the island. I can make things like clothing, whatever, right? And equivalents. But the extra carrying capacity from the backpack and the pistol, I probably can't get, right? Things like medicine and provisions I can make. Knives, axes, spears, I can make. And it's probably better to show off how to make them, right? So I won't use the pistol, but I will take it. And I will carry this, just because the only benefit it gives you is extra carrying capacity. There's no particular gameplay elements that it bypasses. Anyway, so that's that. So that'll be the leather backpack and the pistol. And that's it, we get out now. Abandon ship and the horse.
The storm came out of nowhere. None of us were ready for it. Strong winds and giant waves blew up in a split second and crashed into the ship. The sails were torn apart and the ship slammed into the reefs. The sailors jumped from their bunks and tried to save the ship, but it was too late. I came to my senses on the sandy shore. My memories were gone. I could not even remember my name. But I was alive, and hoped that at least one of my fellow crew members had also escaped.
This guy had a proper nap after getting bonked. Right, so of course we're thirsty, right? It is morning. What's the time? So you can see what time it is here, so it's probably around 10 a.m., right? And we're under the burning sun, right? So once the bar fills up, you get a chance of getting sunburn. You can see the bar filling up right there, immediately. Okay, first things first, find the coconut. So you can break coconuts for water. Right, and as you pick up new materials, that will unlock some basic recipes. Okay, now I need to get out of the sun pretty quickly. Right, then pick up all the leaves. Gonna need those. Definitely gonna need those. Kind of skipping ahead. Now, the important thing to note is we're under the sun right now, right? You can see on the top left that there's this burning sun condition. But once I get into the shade, that disappears. So in other words, the game takes into account the shade. That is a really nice touch, I have to say. I was thoroughly impressed when I first noticed that. And yes, as the sun also moves, the shade also changes. So let's say when it gets close to evening, the sun should be somewhere around there, and we should be exposed to the sun if we're sitting here. That matters. That is important stuff. And that's a very nice touch. I don't think I've seen a game that's that detailed when it comes to things like sunlight, right? Look at that. So if I step outside, look at that. Get back in the shade. Yeah. That is thoroughly impressive. Thoroughly impressive, seriously. But appreciate that immediately. Anyway, pick up all this shit. So we're out of the sun now. And so we need to craft. Okay, so the crafting menu has a huge number of things. And that's not all the recipes, right? So you can scroll down, but that is not all the recipes. So when you find, let's say, a new recipe, the game will highlight it with that. So in this case, we can make a bed of leaves. That's because I picked up a few narrow leaves on the way here. But having said that, this is not all the recipes. This is just the ones that we know. And there are more you can unlock as you go along. And that is impressive. Okay, so we have a coconut. Okay, coconut water. So in this case, that takes... Yeah, we also picked up a ripe coconut. So green coconuts give you coconut water, which is a drinkable. Right now we're a bit thirsty, but we're also hungry. Anyway, let's follow the tutorial. Let's follow the tutorial. Here we are, and all consumables. So all food has a spoilage timer. So in this case, this will spoil in 7 days, which is quite a lot of time, to be honest. Same goes, but until you actually break the coconuts, they'll just keep, right? But they do weigh a lot more. So for example, the green coconut weighs 2 kilos each, whereas the coconut water just weighs half a kilo. So it is better to process them just for the purpose of weight. So all your gear and all your clothing has a condition meter. So in this case, this one will break in 26 days. And in order to repair it, we need both a piece of leather and tendon thread, which we have absolutely no hope of getting right now. So it's important that we go up the tech tree, right? Very, very quickly. Otherwise, this backpack will break. And I don't think we can make another one. Anyway, as far as I've seen. Anyway, let's drink. You can see the meter there. That's water. That's food. That's energy. And that is health. Right now, we have a condition. Because we just awoke from near death, a maximum health gets reduced by 10. Just because we awoke from a near-death experience. In this case, the shipwreck. You get the same condition if you faint. Let's say you get killed by an animal, then the same condition will come back. So right now we need to take some living water, which is the water that we saw mentioned in the letter. So the next one is satisfying hunger, which means find a shell. I will not do that, because that can make you sick. Instead, I will break a coconut. This one. So all crafting takes time as well. And there's also a chance to injure yourself. So any crafting or harvesting has a chance to injure you. That will also spoil in 7 days. Anyway, so that will give us 10 food and a bit of water, which still will leave us below the cap. And yes, any food can make you sick. Very small chance, but there is a chance, right? Okay, gather 5 narrow leaves. So we can either pick them up from the ground. Wait, what is this? Oh yes, or we can harvest them from trees. That will take some time. Yeah, 5 minutes each. But it is easier to pick them up. If you can find them, of course. Okay, there's another one over here. Oh, that's a yellow leaf. Okay, which is useful. Okay, there's at least one leaf over here. Oh, just yellow leaves, okay. So all the harvestables also have timers to renew. So let's say you harvest all the fruits from a tree, that will then commence a timer to replenish those fruits. I don't know if partial harvesting also kicks in the timer, or whether you have to harvest everything in order to kick in the timer. That I'm not sure about. And also, you gotta stay out of the sun, right? The day is getting close to sunset as well. Yeah, so the day does pass very, very quickly. So I will pick this up, but that gives me a new plan. But I won't do anything with it. Let me pick up all the other leaves that I can find here. And of course, the exposure to the sun, that's creeping up on us. There is clothing that we can make in order to keep us safe from the sun. So sticks and leaves that you can gather is very important to gather. I think once you drop them, they stay there permanently, right? So far I haven't seen anything disappear. I do like the way the environment looks, I have to say. It's got that tropical island feel. Okay, so I need to get out of the sun quickly. Can't be in the sun for too long. And also, before you craft anything, be very careful about where the sun's gonna be. Or let's say you do some cooking or some crafting for a decent period of time, then there's a chance that the sun will move and you might be exposed to the sun again while you're crafting. And that is nasty. That could easily give you sunburn. Anyway, this is what they want. We have 5 leaves. That will take half an hour. Okay, now, as you see from here, in the places where you can actually place the bed, you can see things like wind, no rain, no sun, no pests. So there are conditions that can affect you while you're resting, right? If, let's say we sleep on a bed over here, that will expose us to the wind, should the wind pick up. But we'll be safe from things like the sun, because we're slightly shaded over here. There's no insects, and there was something else that I didn't spot. But anyway, only wind from the sea, of course. That's the only problem. Alright, so the game is telling us to sleep. I will not, okay. Reason being that we still have some daylight. And if there's one thing that I've learned in this game is that you should definitely take advantage of daylight. Okay, now, the meter for the burning sun went down quite a bit. It used to be like around here. That's because we were in the shade for a while. So we cooled down a bit, right? Anyway, we need some leaves. It's very important that we pick up leaves. I'll avoid picking up anything else just because it's probably likely to turn up in the tutorial. Because there is a rope over here, for example. Now we'll pick up some sticks. You can either pick them up as they reappear on places like the beach, or you can harvest trees for that. Right, these are palms. We can get some leaves out of them. And because we have that leather backpack, we can carry 22 more. So basically double our carrying capacity. But yeah, I want leaves right now. The reason being that we can make some clothing that will protect us from the sun from leaves. The game has a huge number of skills, which I'll cover once we get to the evening. Or alternatively, when we go up on a skill. But yeah, daytime and nighttime are really different. So if you do anything at nighttime, let's say any harvesting or any construction, there's a fair chance that you're gonna injure yourself at night. Unless you do it around a fire or something like that. Yes? Right here, some bread. Yeah, there are a couple of boxes on the beach. And once you get an axe, you can actually like harvest this stuff. But it just gives you sticks, so it's not really worthwhile. This one should have an apple. Ah, correct. Time? Okay, so it's getting quite late. But in my experience with this game, I've been thoroughly impressed, basically. So I played about 8 days, and died a few times and everything like that. Got sick. Got diarrhea. That's why I refused to eat the shellfish, right? Because I got diarrhea last time, and that was nasty. Okay, let's see. Clothing. Right, so I can make some clothing, right? Leaf cape with that. Leaf sandals, we need wide leaf, which I can get. Portable box is basically an early backpack, which I think you get... Yeah, 10 carry capacity. So once you find one item for a recipe, the game will make the recipe visible, and then it will tell you what else you need. So we should be... Okay, so it's not as hot, right? Because it's getting close to sunset. So therefore, we don't have to worry about the sunburn anymore. Thank God for that. Because sunburn is actually quite nasty. So like I said before, you can make some clothing. Actually, I should be able to show you, yeah. So yeah, increase the sun protection. And yes, as you craft, there's a chance of injury. There's always a base chance of injury. So we need some wide leaves. I know where to get them, but I won't pick them up yet. Because there might be a tutorial. Yeah. Okay, so the sun's setting and it gets dark really quickly. Really quickly. Don't underestimate how quickly it gets dark in this game. Jesus. It gets pitch black, basically. Actually, yeah, let's harvest a few. We're gonna need this. That should take 30 minutes. No suitable tool? Oh shit, okay, fine. I guess I need a knife. That's okay, we'll find some. Okay, so I ate the bread, so I am nicely fed. Yes, and as you can see here, we are exposed to the sun. So previously this was nicely shaded, but we are exposed to the sun. Although it is now late in the day, so we have no risk of sunburn, which is very important. Still a little bit too early to sleep. So let's craft a few coconuts. And the sun's gone down, and as you can see, it gets dark really quickly. And because it's now dark, there's an extra modifier that applies to any crafting or gathering. So there, any crafting you do at night has a good chance of giving you an injury. And if you look to your left as you face the beach, you can see the stone from the drawing. That's the grotto over there. We'll get to it tomorrow. It's also very easy to make torches in the game. It just takes a single stick. So technically speaking, you could use the same trick as in the Long Dark, where you light a torch off a fire and then carry that along. Assuming of course that you can light torches with torches, like in the Long Dark. If that's the case, then that would be an amazing feature. A bit cheesy, but it would be an amazing feature, right? But yes, just the fact that you can use a lit torch as a fire starter. That's important. So at the worst case, we could light a fire, then use that to light a second torch, right? So there are a lot of things that we can see. Okay, so yeah, so you can also make yourself shelter, sun and rain protection. Oh, okay, gives you a bonus to disease treatment. I haven't seen those things before. And you can build storage. Yeah, so I still don't know if things disappear off the map, right? Or is it like the Long Dark where everything is permanent? And yeah, different campfires allow you to do different things, right? So for example, if you want to make some fried eggs, you can only make it with a campfire with stones. Anyway, what's the time? Okay, we should be able to sleep. Didn't craft anything. Yeah, 7 hours. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, yeah. Sleeping actually... So if you sleep well, then that gives you a chance to fight off illnesses and stuff like that. Right now we're a bit hungry, so we're not recovering as much health. But it should be okay. So anyway. Okay, it is morning now. Harvest a stone. We gotta rush actually. Gotta rush. Let me break this down. In this case, we get back all our leaves. We use 5 leaves and we can get them all back. But it will take time. So you can kind of treat that like a sleeping bag. And we got the vivacity perk, which gives us less chance of injury. I don't know if it brings it down to below 1%, right? Okay, there is a pile of stones over here. And yes, nice effect on the sunlight. There's a pile of stones over here. And there's some chickens over there, I think. Yeah, they're chickens. Yep, and like chickens, they ran away. Bloody chickens. Cowards. Anyway. Right, okay, so I think I will need at least 2. Should I make it 3? Anyway, pick up 2. Because each one takes like 10 minutes, right? So, time is money right now. And I don't know how long it takes for this to refresh itself. If ever. If ever. Anyway, create a stone axe. And of course we found a few recipes. One is for the campfire with stones, because that requires stones. And here, stone axe. It's a simple stone axe. Well, we need any kind of axe. And that takes 1 hour. As I mentioned before, the shade changed because the sun changed position, and because of that we picked up a little bit of burning sun condition. So yes, sitting here would have been better, right? Make sure that you're outside the sun while you're crafting. Anyway, harvest a long stick over here. Right, different trees give you different products. So in this case we have the Jurima preta. So when you click on the item itself, for example here, narrow leaves, palm trees. Yellow leaves, some palm trees. Stone, yeah, stones are mined from stone deposits. Anyway, here we can find some sticks. Let's pick up... Yeah, and this will use up some of our axe condition, so... Yeah, let's hold off on that. Because once again, time is money, right? Craft a wooden spear. Let's squat. Make sure that we're out of the sun. Melee weapon, we can make a harpoon or a wooden spear. Harpoons are used for underwater fishing, of course. This one is just used for normal fishing, for normal hunting rather. Although we can also make a bit of leaves, and we can make a large box of branches. Large box made of branches, rather, which has bigger storage than this. Anyway, crouch and sneak attack a crab. You start with 2 weapon slots. You can actually get, I think you get belts that allow you to carry more. Yeah, so the belts allow you to carry more, and there is a quiver as well for ammo. So yeah, you start with 1 ammo slot and 2 weapon slots, but you can upgrade them with extra wearables, like belts and stuff like that. Right, let's kill off a few crabs. And you just gotta crouch. Okay, there is a skill involved in this, right? There is actually a numerical skill. Okay, let's get out of the sun. Actually, it doesn't matter. So you right click, hold to aim carefully. There is a bit of drop. Oh shit, too early. Of course the crabs run away. Pendejo, come back here. Hey, dinner. Lunch. Come back. There is a tiny bit of drop there. Okay, my mouse is... Oh shit. Ah. Bloody crabs. Can I chuck this at it? Here. Oh, okay, he's too smart. He's too smart. Okay, fine. The thing is, you have to cook the crabs, of course. Okay, there you go. So you have to cook the crabs. But, because the fires are so difficult to start, you want to cook as much as possible. It's important to actually cook in batches. Okay, here we go. Aha, got him. He's moving sideways. 10 out of 10 game. Okay, we just went up a level in terms of throwing. So the game has a lot of skills. What's the time? Yeah, okay, so it's midday. But the game has a lot of skills, including throwing, of course, as you saw. Another one is, I think it's athleticism. Oh, right in the pincer. And the spear is losing condition. Got him. So crabs are one of the easiest foods to get. There are of course other animals who are more dangerous, but they tend to give you more goods, right? Like bones. Is that? It's a rock, isn't it? Massive rock, okay. I'll take that. That's a very important one, actually. There's some materials that you can only use, that you can only craft with a massive stone. Like, for example, axe heads. Oh, still got him, okay. He used to be a crab, but we got him on the knee. Alright, what's my weight like? 37, so I can still carry a bit. And the game has progressive weight, by the way. So as you get close to your maximum carrying capacity, you'll get the over-encumbered condition. Or something like that, or encumbered condition. Is he dead? He looks dead. Did I not pick him up? What? Are you dead? Okay. He was alive, he was just upside down. He was still alive though. May spend some time picking up a couple more long sticks because my spear is losing condition, right? Right, you can also pick up dates, which can dry. Okay, let me pick up another couple of stones from here. Okay, need to get out of the sun. Oh shit. Okay, this could be bad. I don't want sunburn. Yeah, you know what? Let's get it at night or something like that. Because right now we're exposed to the sun. That is not good. Oh yes, and we've hit the overloaded thing. So we're getting pretty close to our carrying capacity, which is 44, but we hit, I think, like a 5 kilos on that. It's probably based on percentages, but it basically means that we walk slower. Okay, so I'm gonna reserve that stick, and yes, we move noticeably slower, as you see. Yep, level 1 strength. And if you carry heavy loads, that increases your strength. I keep forgetting this, but I shouldn't craft at night, right? So what I want to do is make a fireplace now. And if you click on the item, you can see which trees you can harvest them from. In this case, long sticks. Okay, so I probably made a mistake by disassembling my bed. That's okay though, not a big deal. Let me make a primitive fire first. Okay, right. So fires can also be exposed to conditions. Right, so in this case, just the wind. Right, so fires can only be started with a fire starter. You can get a flint and steel from the chest before you leave the ship, but in this case we didn't. Doesn't take much in the way of resources, but there is a chance of injury, and it does take a fair bit of time, so... And it doesn't give you much of a chance to start a fire, which is really nasty. Right, we're getting close to sunset now. Right, so we've got to start a fire. Could fail. There's a good chance that will fail. So yeah, chance of ignition 15. Jesus. Success. Okay, lucky. Oh yes, if we'd failed, that would have been nasty. Okay, so we do have fire. The fire will go for 3 and 21. We can add more fuel before it expires. We can upgrade it later on if we want. If we upgrade it with stones, we can then fry some eggs and bake some cakes, apparently. So anyway, crafting. So we have a whole bunch of crabs. Unfortunately, you can't leave things to cook, right? You have to actually sit here and watch them cook, which is not a good thing. Okay, so let's see. 3 hours, right? 7, yeah. Yep, cooking's gone up. And of course, that involves a skill. How much time? 38 minutes. Okay, let's add some fuel. You can choose different types of fuel. In this case, just a stick. So, okay, we don't have any more crabs to cook, but I do have... Should I make this? Yeah, you know what? Let's make this. The reason being that I know that I will need it. There may be a tutorial item that tells us to make this, but I'll pre-make it. 1 hour 16, okay. Now the conditions are, I think it's night and probably cloudy. We are by the fire, which keeps us nice and warm. Yeah, so it helps with flus and stuff like that. And it scares off the pests. Oh, shit, harvest 2 white leaves. Let's keep the fire going. Didn't expect that to, didn't expect this item to come up. This might not go well for me. So there is a possibility of dangerous animals or aggressive animals, but usually they warn you with sound. Anyway, these guys. Okay, so I need to harvest 2. Okay. This is important, so... Steamed leaf bandages. I harvested all those white leaves because I know that I'll need them. Okay, let me... Yeah, sticks. So each stick gives you about an hour of fuel, so... Very fuel efficient. So the fire should still be burning, I think. Just double check the fuel. 2 hours, okay, that's fine. Okay, so we need to craft... Well, the game wants us to craft a bandage. So this one treats wounds. Minor cuts, normal wounds, severe wounds, infected wounds, and all that. So this would be, for example, if we get bit by an animal. Yeah, let's craft the campfire. Find the rope, okay. And the rope is over there. I'm getting really tired though. Should I sleep? Okay, at the very least, let me eat. Let me eat something. Right, so those roasted crabs will spawn in 1.2 days. So that means we have to eat them sooner rather than later. They're not the most nutritious food you'll ever see. Okay, so that's basically bringing us back to full condition. How much time? That should be fine. Aside from this rope, I think we've looted pretty much everything else. I'll pick this up. I'm guessing you can use this for fishing as bait, right? That's a rope. The game wants us to climb a tree and then map the surroundings. So those cartographer trees kind of act like there's the towers in Assassin's Creed, right? So anyway, because we have some white leaves, we can actually make some of this stuff. Yeah, so that's why I harvested all those white leaves. Anyway, what's the time? 34 minutes. How long would it take to build a fire, a bed? Okay, that should be fine. No sun, no rain, no pests. Okay. The fire may go out, but that's fine. Yeah, it's gone out. It ran out of fuel, but that's fine. We're gonna sleep anyway. We can sleep 3 hours. Yeah, that's good. That will heal us quite a bit. Anyway, sleep. Right, it is now morning. I do want to disassemble this. Because we're not sleeping here anymore. And you... Assembled. We get back all the sticks. Thank you. But of course it does take time. Anyway. So the crabs are not the most nutritious food. There's a fairly big chance of indigestion, but could be worse, right? And I forgot to cover the skills, but anyway, we'll cover them later. But let's just say that there's a whole bunch of skills that you can make use of. So far we've seen strength, athletics, and throwing gone up, as well as cooking. Okay, you can't really see, but this is one of those trees. So basically I think these trees are the tallest trees in the surroundings. And you find them in different areas. Right, now place ladder. So you need to have a rope. Okay, here we are. Now we can map the place. And there is a nest as well there. Right, mapping. And because I pre-made some mapping charcoal, we can do that right now. So we can see 226 meters and then that will take 3 hours. That's a long time. Tutorial completed, okay. But yes, luckily we didn't get any sunburn or anything like that. Anyway, find the survivors, and as you can see, we can see all the resources. Okay, and as you can see here, the crabs will respawn in 20 days. So once you exhaust the resources in an area, it can take a fair chunk of time for them to come back. You may not want to just strip down the entire place, right? But anyway, there's a whole bunch of things, like there's a boar, yeah. And you can see the world map, in this case, the Island of Hope, and here. So the game as it is now in early access only gives you 2 chapters in the game. So this would be this island as well as this island. The other ones are still TBD, to be done. So it should be very interesting. Yeah, so the game is pretty much feature complete when it comes to the mechanics, I think. So here you can get some perks. You get perk points by achieving different things, right? One of them seems to be to craft a full set of seaweed clothes, which supposedly protect you against sun, rain and heat, which is kind of important. I should prioritize that. Aside from perks and tasks, you've got skills. Okay, so cooking went up, throwing went up, strength and athletics went up, and mapping is about to go up. So there's a whole bunch of skills. So medicine, repairing, fishing, sailing, drying, shooting, that's for the arrow or the gun, I think. Anyway, fast starting and crafting. So as you go up, you get different bonuses. So the skill system kind of works like in the Long Dark, in the sense that you improve the skills by doing them, which seems to be the kind of the standard in most games that have similar skill systems, right? Anyway, it's getting to midday. There's a nest. I don't know about worms. They're definitely bait for fishing, right? But do they expire? Yes, they do. Okay. 13 days. Okay, so I may not want to do this yet. Feathers do not expire. And eggs... let's get a couple. Right. I don't think I can get the rope back. So unfortunately that means that we have to procure another rope in order to map another area. Yeah, you can't do that. Anyway, it is quite overcast and that is the place where we're going to. So yeah, so far in terms of the survival mechanics and in terms of the skill system, I'm very impressed with this game. Thoroughly impressed. It's basically a mature version of a survival game. The environment is very nicely done. I think the game is basically feature complete. They just have to add the remaining 3 chapters. Okay, let's grab you while we're here. Ah, run off. Hey, those crabs were mating. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you, buddy.